Fine. So we were dealing with adrenergic blocking agents, and they have other name, that is sympatholytics. Right. Further, we have alpha adrenergic blocking agents and beta adrenergic blocking agents, and as a subcategories. Two subcategories under sympatholytics: alpha adrenergic blocking agents and beta adrenergic blocking agents. So, if you see, for alpha adrenergic blocking agents, the subcategories include ergot alkaloids, quinazolines, imidazolines, and beta halo alkylamines. Fine. And if you see the examples for ergot alkaloids, we have two. One is dihydroergotamine, methysergide. For quinazolines, we have prazosin as an example. Under imidazolines, we have tolazoline, phentolamine. For beta haloalkylamines, the example is phenoxybenzamine. And this includes alpha adrenergic blocking agents. If we move on, we have beta adrenergic blocking agents. We have two main categories under beta adrenergic blocking agents. Okay. First one is aryl ethanolamines. Aryl means any aryl ring, and ethanol means two carbon containing carbon compound with OH group attached to it and amine NH2. So you know the general structure of aryl ethanolamines. And the second one is aryl oxypropanolamines. You should observe the difference in the two categories. So, okay, here one oxy is linking aryl group and propanol. Propanol is three carbon containing alcohol, and you have amine directly attached to propanol. The OH group may be added to the secondary carbon. Okay, and if you see the examples, aryl ethanolamines, labetalol, carvedilol. We have seen the structures, and for aryl oxypropanolamines, we have propranolol, atanolol, metoprolol, metibronolol, esmolol, betazolol, bisoprolol. If you observe, the ending of the name is LOL, lols. So you can easily remember that lols comes under beta adrenergic blocking agents, and most of them are aryl oxypropanolamines. Only two, labetalol and carvedilol, are coming under aryl ethanolamines. Fine. So what is the use of beta adrenergic blocking agents? They are mostly employed in the treatment of hypertensive conditions. Hypertension means elevated blood pressure, okay, and heart related cardiovascular diseases. And if you see, alpha adrenergic blocking agents, ergot alkaloids, mainly used for the treatment of migraine and vascular headaches. Okay, and prazosin, tolazolin, phentolamine, phenoxybenzamine, we have specific uses, and we'll go through them while we deal with them. Fine. This is the classification of sympatholytics. Then after, we saw some descriptive part for ergot. So ergot is actually dried sclerotium of a fungus. The fungus name is Claviceps purpurea. Okay, and this grows on the plants. The plant belongs to the family of Graminae or Cyperaceae. Okay, there are mainly two kinds. One is natural and other one is cultivated. Okay, so cultivated means we'll cultivate it artificially. Natural means from the natural source. That is the only difference. And we have the years mentioning where the ergo toxin is isolated. Okay, in 1906, ergotamine was isolated in 1920, ergometrin is isolated in 1930. Out of all these three, ergometrin is a oxytocin. Okay, and you know the uses. It is used in the treatment of migraine and vascular headache. Okay, and these three are substituted amides. Amide means NHCO, carbonyl group and amino group attached together forms amide. Okay, these are substituted amides of lysergic acid. So it is very important point to remember. Then after, we proceeded forward to see the structure of dihydroergotamine. Here we need to remember this amide bond. Okay, and what are the rings present attached to the amine group and as well as carbonyl group. By dividing the structure into two parts, we can practice what kind of ring is fused here, this side and this side. Okay, and what hydrogens are highlighted. Okay, if a hydrogen is represented with the dotted line, that means it is below the plane. And if it is in solid line, it is in plane. And if you have solid wedge, darken, that indicates that that is above the plane. So all those things are covered under stereochemistry. So for such a big molecule, stereochemistry is playing a key role. Okay, and then after we need to compare the same structure with the next drug under category is methotrexate. So here for right side you have a simple chain instead of fused rings, and there are few changes in having methyl group attached to the amino group here as well as here, and the hydrogen highlighted here is only single hydrogen. Fine, and here compare this side chain with that of dihydroergotamine. Okay, so this is used for the prophylaxis of migraine. Prophylaxis is a preventive measure. Okay, preventive regimen that we employ is generally termed as prophylaxis. Okay, and we went forward and saw the structure of prazosin. So how to remember? Prazosin will have three rings. One is piperazine, the other one is furan, and quinazole. So remember three structures separately and combine them. Okay, and remember that there are methoxy groups attached to the quinazolin ring. Okay, that is how they are linked together. Then we saw the structure of tolazolin. For understanding the structure of tolazolin, we saw what is the structure of toluene. Toluene is nothing but benzene directly attached with CH3 is toluene. And you know the structure of imidazole. Imidazole is 2 nitrogen containing 5-member ring with 2 double bonds. When we hydrogenate, we add hydrogens, then 2 hydrogens will remove 1 double bond. In such cases, we call the ring to be imidazole. So tolazolin is having imidazolin ring attached to toluene. Okay, one hydrogen of CH3 is replaced with imidazolin ring. So that is tolazolin. So toluene and imidazolin makes up tolazolin. Then we saw the structure synthesis. Okay, synthesis of tolazolin. Here we are using the starting materials phenyl acetonitrile and ethylene diamine, so that the nitrile group is a very easy leaving group. Okay, so that nitrile will help in getting attached with diethylenamine, and diethylamine gets cyclized into imidazolin ring. So here I forgot a double bond. That will reflect. Okay. So even a missing single double bond also will matters a lot. It didn't reflect on your screen. Okay, the double bond. Fine. So this is very simple to remember, the synthesis of tolazolin. And we proceeded forward to see the structure, chemical structure of phentolamine. Fine. So you have phenyl group. Here the nitrogen, the amino group is to be concentrated, and what groups are attached to the amino group. So here toluene is attached here. Okay, here it is phenol is attached. Okay, and this amine with the help of methyl bridge is attached to again imidazoline. So try to remember this way. Fine. So if you compare the name, tol and phenol both are attached to amine, phentolamine. Okay, this part is covered in the name itself. Okay, and you have to remember that imidazolin ring is attached to this setup through one methylene group. Then so we have proceeded forward to see beta halo alkylamines. In that, first candidate is phenoxybenzamine. Okay, phenoxybenzamine. This is an alkylamine. Here the alkylamine present in the structure is ethyl chloride. Okay, so beta means the carbon directly attached to the carbon directly attached to amine is alpha. The preceding carbon, the proceeding carbon after alpha is beta. So the chlorine atom, the halogen is attached to beta carbon. So beta halo alkyl amine. So this becomes the central structure. To this, what attachments are there? Okay, phenoxy is here, is linked with the isopropyl group. Okay, then you have benzyl attached to the amino group. So you have to remember what all are the groups present and how the arrangement is there in the molecular structure. Then, so we proceeded for with the previous compound. We have saw all the chemical structures and important synthesis of tolazole lin. Okay, we have finished alpha blockers. Now we have remained with beta blockers. In that first category is aryl ethanolamine. Okay, so if you observe, this is the structure of labetalol. Okay, this is the amine group and it is having ethanol linked to it, so ethanolamine. Okay, ethanolamine and aryl, this is the aryl group, and I have showed you the structure of salicylic acid. Okay, salicylic acid is benzene having a hydroxyl group. At the adjacent position you have COOH. Instead of OH it is NH2 here, so it is an amide. So it is salicylamide. Salicylamide is connected to ethanolamine. Then further it is attached with this group. That is how you should remember the structure of labetalol. And lastly, in the last class we saw the structure of carvedilol, the second candidate under beta halo alkylamines. Here this ring is carbazole, so you should remember the structure of carbazole. It is pyrrole fused with benzene on two sides, and you have an oxy group attached directly to the ring, and you have propanol, and this is amine. So here CH2 CH2O H ethanol, in ethanol hydrogen is replaced with the methoxy phenyl group. Okay, so this is considered and categorized under ethanolamines. Okay, from this side it is ethanolamine, from this it is a propanolamine. Okay, so this one you should remember. And moving further, excuse me. So what is the next candidate in the sequence after what we saw? So we have second category, that is aryl oxy propanolamines. Am I right? Aryl oxy propanol amines. So you can easily predict the chemical groups, functional groups present in the aryl oxy propanol amines. So here you have a general formula. You should remember it. Aryl is abbreviated as AR. Okay. Then you have oxy. So aryl oxy. Okay. Aryl oxy. Then propanol. CH2, CH, CH2. And it is a secondary carbon, the hydroxyl group attached with. Okay. And propanol amine. So you have NH. So this is the general structure. Here it is an alkyl group that is getting attached with amine. So the only difference lies with what is the aryl group, what is the alkyl group. Otherwise, the chain or the bridge which is connecting aryl group as well as alkyl group is same in every compound. So if you remember this, and if you compare aryl structure and R structure with that of their name, you can easily remember the chemical structures of aryl oxy propanolamines. So you should remember. So This common structure can be remembered with the help of the name. So aryl oxy means aryl ring attached to oxygen group. So till here it is aryl oxy, and you have propanol amine. So propanol amine. So the amine group is attached with the R, that is alkyl group. So by knowing this, you can easily remember the structures of aryl oxy propanolamine. So let us see the structure of first candidate, that is propranolol. So let me show you with this example. Okay, through the this one. First write the common structure: oxy, CH2, CH, OH, and CH2, NH. So here the alkyl group is isopropyl group. So here R is propyl group. Okay, and the aryl ring is a naphthalene ring. What is naphthalene ring? Two benzene rings fused together is naphthalene. So propranolol will have a naphthalene ring as aromatic portion, and isopropyl group as alkyl portion. So is it easy to remember propranolol? If you remember aryl oxypropanolamine. So if you remember the chemical classification and the general structure, it is very easy to remember the chemical structure of individual drugs. So for propranolol, we need to learn the synthesis. Okay, so let us move forward. So are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Fine. So let us see the synthesis of propranolol. Okay, so the starting material for the synthesis of propranolol is alpha naphthol. You have observed that as aryl portion you have naphthalene. So aryl oxy. So naphthoxy can be obtained from naphthanol. Okay, so what is naphthalene? Is two benzene rings fused together and having a hydroxy group attached directly to it. Okay, fine. So this is alpha naphtha, and it is fused with epichlorhydrin. Epichlorhydrin. So this is the structure of epichlorhydrin. So the carbons form a cyclic structure with the help of oxygen in between. Okay, it's a three-membered carbon. It is not reflecting in your this. Okay, I'll write the name. Okay, epichlorhydrin. It is very important. Remember the structure of epichlorhydrin. Okay, epichlorhydrin. You will get naphthol is there already, so write naphthol structure. Okay, in OH you replace hydrogen with chlorine is a leaving group, so write the remaining part: CH2, CH, CH2, and this part. So it is not showing on your screen. Okay, this is added with, now you can see, right? So we have simply fused by removing H from naphthol and chlorine from epichlorhydrin. You are just attaching both the structures. Okay, now you are trying to attach isopropyl amine. How it will look like? So you know alkyl group. So alkyl group is now being attached. So a ring opens here, ring will be opened, and this alkyl group will be attached in the place to get propranolol. So the final structure of propranolol will be like this. So from epichlorohydrin, what we are inducting into the structure, propyl group is there now. In that, propanol will be achieved from using epichlorohydrin. So this is a reliable approach in understanding and remembering the synthesis of propranolol. So once you know the final structure of propranolol, it is very easy for you to construct a synthesis and remember it in a systematic manner. Hope you understood the synthesis of propranolol. Am I clear? Fine. Let's move on to the chemical structures of other drug candidates. What is the next drug candidate? Please respond. Atenolol. So what is the general structure of it? Comes under what category? Chemical category? Aryl oxypropanolamines. So aryl part we'll write later, but we'll write the general uh, structure, that is oxypropanol, secondary propanol amine. So 2 NH, there will be an alkyl group attached, and 2 oxy on the left hand side we will have an aryl group. Okay, so let us see the aryl group in the atenolol. I'm writing it downwards. CH2 CO NH2. Okay, methyl amide. This is the aromatic portion for atenolol. What is the alkyl portion? It is again isopropyl group. So you can easily remember atenolol by comparing it with propranolol. Am I right? So only change is here when you compare it with the propranolol. So we need to compare with propranolol. So what is the next candidate? Metoprolol. Metoprolol is also same, only change is at the side chain. So what is the general structure? CS2NH. The alkyl group here is also same, isopropyl group. And aryl group, if you see, it is CS2 OCH3. And ether side chain. So can you compare it with the propranolol and again see the difference? So are you following me? Okay, then what remained? Metibranolol. Metibranolol. What else there? Esmolol, betazolol. Okay. Now I'll compare three structures. Okay. One is metibranolol. And let the second be esmolol. And I'll compare betazolol also. So three comes under the category of propyl, aryl oxy, propanol, amine. So you know the general structure for each, right? Leave aryl group. So aryl oxy, we'll write aryl group later. Propanol amine. Secondary propanol. This is propanol and amine. Two amine attached is alkyl group. The same is common for esmolol also. CH2, CH, propanol. This is propanol and the amine. Amine will be attached with alkyl group. And the same is applicable for betazolol, aryl oxy, propanol, amine. Alkyl group is different. So for metopronolol, the alkyl group is this. Observe it. Sorry. This benzyl group is attached with COOCH3, an ester, and besides there are two methyl groups, total three methyl groups. Okay, and you have one methyl group here. So this is the aryl portion in metibranolol. Metibranolol, and you have alkyl group for this one metibranolol, same isopropyl group. Okay, for esmolol, if you see esmolol, aryl group is like this, and the side the substituent on the aromatic ring is CH2, CH2, C double bond O, that is COO, again an ester, CH3. COO is nothing but C double bond O. COO and C double bond O are both same. Okay, so this is the aryl portion for esmolol. Okay, alkyl portion is, now observe alkyl portion. Is there any difference when you compare it with your earlier candidates? Again the same. Alkyl group is, if you observe, alkyl group is being maintained as such with isopropyl group. Only changes are being made on aromatic ring. So please do remember this point while we discuss structure activity relationships. These observations are very important. Oh, this is how the structure activity relations are built up. Okay, so let us see the structure of betazolol, what aromatic portion is there and what this alkyl portion is there. Alkyl portion is same again, that is isopropyl group. Okay, and phenyl group only, the substituent is different, that is again in ether, it is an ether, CH2, CH2, OCH2 and a cyclopropane group. This is a cyclopropane group. Okay. So this is the structure of beta zolol. So can you compare these drugs with each other and correlate the differences and the similarities? Similarity is the propyloxyamine, right? Oxypropylamine. Sorry, oxypropanolamine. Oxypropanolamine is the common bridge between an aromatic compound and alkyl. Alkyl group is remained as isopropyl group while the aromatic ring kept changing on. Okay, so these are the structures of metibranolol, esmolol, and betazolol. Then we see the structure of what we are remained with bisoprolol. Okay, so bisoprolol, fine, and the structure is the general structure is same, right? Aryl oxy propanolamine. And here also the alkyl group remained same, isopropyl. And the side chain is little lengthy. And this phenyl group having this structure CH2O, CH2, CH2O, and another isopropyl. So this is the side structure, very lengthy side chain attached to aryl group is present in bisoprolol. Okay, so did I miss anything? Please do check the classification and let me know. Anything is missing? So let me check the classifications. So we are done with the alpha adrenergic blocking agents. All are covered, I guess. So when you see beta adrenergic blocking agents, labetalol and carvedilol, two examples for aryl ethanolamines. So we have covered them. And aryl oxypropanolamines, we have covered propranolol, metanolol, metoprolol, metibranolol, esmolol, and betazolol, and bisoprolol. Total 18 number. So let's get back to our classification and check. So here you have labetalol, carvedilol, propranolol, ethanol, metoprolol, metibranolol, esmolol, bisoprolol, and betazolol. So 8. So we are done with the chemical structures. So now please observe this. So far we have tried comparing the structures of our drug candidates. Now let us go on with our structure activity relationship. Fine. So the notes is already given to you. So can anyone tell me any structural similarities what you have observed so far? Did you observe anything among the chemical structures of the drugs under beta blockers? Fine. So this is activity, structure activity relationship of beta adrenergic blocking agents. Beta adrenergic blocking agents. So beta blockers are actually structurally similar to beta agonists. Okay, although these are blockers, they are structurally similar to beta agonists. And beta agonists, the catechol ring, we are seeing the key importance of catechol ring, right? So the catechol ring can be replaced by a variety of ring systems without loss of antagonistic activity. So what we can do is we can replace catechol with other aromatic rings. Okay, that is the first point. So if you replace catacol's hydroxyl group with chlorine or phenyl ring system, that will retain the beta blocking activity. So we can replace with the chlorine atom. What is being replaced? Hydroxyl group. Hydroxyl group of catechol can be replaced with chlorine atom. Okay, a phenyl ring, that means C6H5. Okay, phenyl ethyl, or any kind of ring system will not do any effect to the blocking activity. That means blocking activity can be ensured. Then if you see the third point, N comma N disubstitution, that is the substitution at amino group. Okay, that will decreases the beta blocking activity. If you substitute amino group doubly substituted amino group will decrease the beta blocking activity. Okay, so the activity should be maintained when phenylethyl, hydroxyphenylethyl and methoxyphenylethyl groups are added to amine as a part of the molecule. So amine can be added with those three kind of groups: phenylethyl, okay, phenyl ring attached with ethyl group; hydroxyphenylethyl, the phenylethyl having extra hydroxy group; or methoxyphenylethyl, phenylethyl group having CH3O. So okay, those groups can be added to amine group as part of the molecule to retain. But if you substitute them with two rings on the amine, that will cause a decreased activity. So this is important point, third one. And the two carbon chain is essential for activity. So the two carbon chain, where it is present, if you observe the general structure, okay, let me draw the general structure again. Aromatic ring, okay, in ethanol it is 2 carbon, in propanol it is 3 carbon. So I'll write aryl oxypropanolamines. So it will include ethanolamines also. NHR. Okay, so the 2 carbon chain, that means minimum of 2 carbons are essential. Okay, minimum of 2 carbons are essential. And if you introduce OCH2 group, as we did in aryl oxy, instead of aryl ethanolamines, if you add OCH2 group in the molecule between aromatic ring and ethylamine side chain. So earlier it was ethylamine, right? So you should add ethylamine, aryl ethylamine side chain. If you add OCH2, that will become aryl oxy propanolamines. Okay, that will actually enhance the beta blocking agents. If you see an example, carvedilol if introduced with OCH2, that will give us aryl oxypropanolamines. The example, first example is propranolol. So do compare the structures of propranolol and carvedilol and observe the extra introduction of OCH2 in the ethylamine side chain. That is between ethanolamine and aryl group. You have OCH2 extra. That is actually recommended. And the nitrogen atom should be secondary amine for optimum blocking agent activity. Sorry. So if it is a secondary amine, that is having a good beta blocking activity. And lastly, if you see beta blockers, they will exhibit a high degree of stereoselectivity in the production of their beta blocking effect. So the carbon of side chain bearing hydroxyl group must be S configuration for optimal affinity to the receptor. So where is the side chain? Hydroxyl group. This carbon bearing hydroxyl group should be of S. Okay, S configuration. So you must be knowing the IUPAC nomenclature for stereochemical compounds, that is mainly R and S nomenclature. We'll assign R and S nomenclature by giving preference to the functional groups. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we'll neglect 4 and we'll see which direction this is the preference is given. Based on the direction, we will decide whether it is R or S. So in case of the carbon having hydroxyl group, bearing hydroxyl group, it should be of S configuration. So you will refer to R and S configuration and let me know what is S configuration, whether it is clockwise, if the preferential groups are should be arranged towards clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so that is the today's homework. So with this we are done with beta adrenergic blocking agents. Okay, and with this I think our unit 2 is completed. Let me check.